So this video is what we would have done in week 4 of our Larder synoptic practice. So if you would have attended the 3 previous weeks, this would have been your 7th Larder session practice, and this would have been done in your normal Larder sessions, and then at the end of Larder session 7 we'll go into Larder session 8, and that will be the last and final session before the exam. So for Larder session 7th, remember this would have been the 4th week, the first practical session. We'll be going to look at the lamb's neck with minted pea puree, turned carrots and parmentier potatoes, and the polenta with pickled chestnut mushrooms. So the mise en place list, just like the previous 3 weeks, that's exactly the order that we would be doing this 2 dishes in. The lamb's butchery, I'm not going to go too much over this slide now, because if you've watched the previous 3 videos, then obviously you would have done this exactly the same. So obviously what you're doing, you're taking the lamb's neck, removing the meat, batting it out, rolling it up into a roulade, and then tying it into 5 or 6 carefully positioned knots. Lamb stock, exactly how we would have done before, obviously roasting the bones, caramelising the mirepoix. Point number 4 says cover with water, cook out for at least 2 hours. The longer the better. If you can get it more than 2 hours, great, but 2 hours is a minimum. Remember, as I've always said, lamb is a very fatty ingredient, and so it will need skimming quite frequently to get rid of as much fat as possible. The lamb braising, exactly how we've done in the previous 3 videos. Season it, sealing it off, adding some mirepoix, some chicken stock, and getting it into the oven for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, removing the lamb's neck and placing it into tin foil to keep warm. Polenta, exactly the same as we've done in the previous 3 weeks. Obviously that porridge consistency, add your seasonings, chili, butter, herbs, get it into some cling film, roll it into a roulade, get it into the fridge to firm up. For some pickled mushrooms, we haven't done this one yet. It's finely sliced 4 chestnut mushrooms, finely sliced some shallots, some brunoise chili, brunoise fine dice, produce gastric, which is balsamic vinegar and sugar, which is a good acidic type sauce. Add all the ingredients to the gastric, bring it to the boil, and once the sugar's dissolved, take it off the heat and allow it to cool down. Obviously that will pickle the ingredients. The earlier you can do that, the better picker flavour you'll get. Pea puree, obviously 50 grams of peas. Usually we use frozen peas, they're just as good. Some chopped garlic, some shallots, thyme. Sweat off the shallots, garlic and thyme with the butter, add the peas, add some water, bring to the boil until the peas are cooked, but certainly not grey. The peas will overcolour the more that they've boiled. Drain, blend with some chopped mint until smooth. Retain the water from the peas, because you may need a bit more water to get that smooth consistency. Pass it through a fine sieve, get it as fine as you can, get it into a jug, cling filmed, and obviously when you come to use it for service, make sure you reheat. Parmentier potatoes, love parmentier potatoes. The pictures on this slide isn't actually correct. They're turned barrel-shaped potatoes, but parmentier potatoes are generally diced potatoes, exactly the same way as you would do chateau potatoes, but you must make sure that they're all exactly the same size. Polenta, obviously you can slice a polenta to any desired shape, fry it off in a little oil and butter, and get it nice and crisp, golden side, and then present with a Parmesan cheese tuile. The lamb's dish, just like we've done before, once that lamb is out of the oven, get it resting for 10 minutes. Warm pea puree on the plate, slice the lamb, add some potatoes, add the jus, and then serve. So that was the end of Larder session 7. Now this would have been the 8th and final Larder session that we would have done in preparation for your exam. So for this one, we're going to go to the amuse-bouche, chicken broth and the fish dish. And there's your good old mise en place list. Chicken broth, I'm not going to go through this slide too much. We've made this before. This is exactly the same. Get the chicken stock on the go. fish, again, not going to do this, go over this slide so much. Remember, point 1 says 4 fillets, you probably only have half a fish, so that's only 2 fillets. Get the fish into the release once it's been skinned, and then make a fish stock for 20 minutes. Fish sauce, exactly the same as we've previously done. Split it into 2 containers at the end and add the egg yolk into one of them. The amuse-bouche, no dissimilar to what we've previously made. Finely brunoise, shallot, garlic, chilli and tomato concasse. 25 ml of brandy this time, and some butter, give it a good flavour. Trim the livers, slice into strips and rinse the milk off. Place about 3 sprigs of pea shoots into the fridge. Produce 2 croûtes, which is obviously your bread. Couscous preparation, so 100 grams of couscous, 100 grams of boiling hot fish stock, some brunoise green peppers, brunoise shallots, garlic, parsley, parmesan and concasse tomatoes. And there's the method for your couscous. To finish the amuse-bouche, obviously you're going to saute the chicken livers in a teaspoon of oil, saute the shallot, chilli, garlic, place the plates into the oven just like we've previously done, deglaze with brandy. This will definitely flambe. And then add some butter. So 0.7, when the liquid is almost finished, that's the brandy liquid, monte the butter into a sauce. Now, by putting butter into the sauce, you will enrich the sauce, you add a much deeper flavour, and it will slightly thicken slightly as well, which is always a good sign. Again, butter, very similar to eggs though, and cream, don't over boil this because you will reduce the fat and then it will split. Put in the tomato concasse and the parsley, place your chicken livers on top or the side of the croûtes, get your pea shoots out of the fridge, decorate and serve. Soup, pretty much similar as we've done before. Make sure that chicken stock is very hot. Add the brunoise ingredients, simmer for about 10 minutes. Adjust the seasoning, make sure there's no fat on top of the broth, into 2 equal soup bowls and serve. Fish, exactly the same as before. The least goes into saute pan filled up with half full of stock, into oven with a butter cartouche for 8 minutes. Take out the fish fillet, put it onto a baking tray, pour over the sauce that had the egg into it, over the into the salamander. 0.7, pour the boiling water fish stock over the couscous, cover with cling film, so you want that couscous obviously starting to swell up. Put the couscous onto the plate and then obviously the fish on top. So that's the end of the 4th and final video, and this is the end of obviously session 8. If you would have attended all 8 sessions, you would have cooked all 5 dishes for your exam dish 4 times, with slight different variations to each. All right, so attendance, you would have done the dishes